Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when everything you thought was stable begins to shake. People leave, opportunities dry up, plans you held close start slipping through your fingers, and in those moments you may feel abandoned, confused, even punished. But what if I told you, you're not being punished, you're being positioned? When something big is about to enter your life, the universe does not whisper softly, it roars in strange ways. And unless you're spiritually awake, you may misinterpret the divine preparation as destruction. This message is for the one who feels lost right now. It's for the one who is questioning everything. If you're facing deep inner conflict, isolation, or doors closing all around you, keep watching. What feels like an ending is the beginning of something you cannot yet see. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. These are the sacred signs that something big is being sent your way. Stay with me till the end, and you'll see that the confusion you feel is not chaos, it's a calling. When your comfort zone begins to collapse, it often comes disguised as anxiety, frustration, or loss. Things that once felt familiar suddenly feel suffocating. People you were once close to begin to feel distant. Activities that used to bring you joy now seem dull and pointless. And as uncomfortable as all of this feels, it is not chaos. It is a divine signal. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. When something big is on its way into your life, God allows a discomfort to settle over you. Not to break you, but to wake you up. Discomfort is the alarm clock of the soul. It rings when you have stayed too long in a chapter that no longer serves your evolution. It shows up when you are living beneath your potential. When your spirit is ready to grow but your habits remain stuck in routine. This kind of pain doesn't come from failure, it comes from resisting growth. And the more you resist, the louder it becomes. You may begin to question everything, your job, your relationships, even your purpose. You feel restless, like something is missing, but you can't quite name it. This is not emptiness, it's space being made. God is clearing out the unnecessary to make room for what is next. It feels like everything is falling apart, but truly, things are falling into place. You are being realigned with something far more powerful than your current understanding. In this stage, you may feel the need to withdraw. The world seems too loud, too heavy, too fake. That urge to isolate is not weakness, it is sacred. It is your soul's way of detoxing from distractions, so that you can begin hearing the guidance that was drowned out by noise. The discomfort you feel in everyday situations is actually clarity rising. You're being shown what no longer resonates, what no longer fits. The friction is showing you where your spirit refuses to shrink any longer. And still, you might try to cling to comfort. You might try to fix what's falling apart. But what if it's not meant to be fixed? What if it's meant to be left behind? Sometimes the very things we beg God to keep in our lives are the same things He's trying to remove so He can deliver what we truly need. And discomfort becomes the only language we will finally listen to. You see, comfort makes you passive, but discomfort makes you pay attention. It awakens your awareness, sharpens your senses, and forces you to look within. That internal pressure you're feeling, it's not working against you, it's God molding you into someone capable of receiving the magnitude of what He's about to give you. Real growth doesn't happen when you're at peace. It happens when you're stretched, pulled, and challenged in ways you never imagined. So if you feel like your life is being disrupted right now, don't resist it. Don't curse the discomfort. Instead, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What am I being prepared for? The moment you begin to see discomfort not as a curse but as a calling, everything shifts. You begin to trust the process even when you don't understand it. You begin to see the breakdown not as an end, but as the beginning of a breakthrough. So remember, before God gives you something big, He makes you uncomfortable, not to harm you, but to align you. Let's answer, not to destroy, but to expand. And the more uncomfortable it gets, the closer you are to the blessing. Let the discomfort guide you, let it wake you up, let it become your preparation for the extraordinary. There comes a point in every journey where you find yourself alone, not because you've done something wrong, but because your soul is shifting into a new frequency. The people you once resonated with no longer understand you. The conversations you used to enjoy feel hollow. The places that brought comfort now seem foreign. This is not rejection, it's isolation. And it's not accidental, it's intentional. Because before elevation comes separation. Before you can be moved into a higher place, everything that can't go with you must fall away. It's painful, yes. Watching people drift away, watching support systems dissolve, feeling invisible even when surrounded by others. But this kind of isolation is divine. It is sacred space being carved out for transformation. When God is about to give you something big, He removes you from the noise of the world so you can hear the clarity of your calling. He isolates you not to punish you, but to deepen your awareness. Because elevation requires focus, and focus requires silence. When you're in this phase, it may feel like you're being forgotten, like you've been left behind while the world continues spinning. But what you're experiencing is not abandonment, it's alignment. It's a divine recalibration of your energy, your surroundings and your relationships. The isolation is not a void, it's a vessel, a holding space where the old version of you is being stripped away and the new version is being shaped in secret. You won't always understand why certain people exit your life so suddenly. Why bonds you thought were unbreakable begin to fade. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some people are only assigned to your life for a season, not a lifetime. And when that season ends, their departure creates the space for your next blessing. Holding on to expired connections delays your evolution. So God, in His wisdom, allows them to exit before the blessing arrives, because they are not equipped to handle what you are about to carry. In isolation, you are invited to go deeper, to listen to the voice within, to confront truths you've been avoiding, to discover that your true source of strength does not come from the world, it comes from within. This is the time when you learn to stand on your own feet, to lean not on others, but on purpose. You find that your identity was never meant to be built around people's validation. It was meant to be built in the quiet places, in the stillness, in the solitude, where God whispers the blueprint for your destiny. This sacred solitude is not forever. It is a bridge between where you were and where you are going. A divine cocoon where wings are formed, and when the time is right you will emerge, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Stronger, wiser, elevated. So if you find yourself feeling alone right now, do not fear it. Do not rush to fill the silence. Sit with it, learn from it, embrace it, because it's in this isolation that the deepest transformation takes place. It's in the loneliness that you begin to hear the whispers of divine purpose. It's in the stillness that your spirit becomes strong enough to carry the weight of what's coming next. You are not alone because you are forgotten. You are alone because you are chosen. And chosen ones are always called into the wilderness before they are called into the spotlight. So trust this space. Trust the isolation. Because it means something greater is being formed in you. Something that will not only change your life, but touch the lives of many others. There is a specific kind of storm that arises before transformation. It doesn't come from outside, it rises from within. You begin to feel torn between your old ways and your inner desire for change. Your mind becomes a battlefield. You think one thing, feel another, and behave in ways you no longer understand. This is the storm of internal conflict. And though it feels like something is going wrong, in truth, something deeply right is happening. This is one of the clearest signs that you are on the edge of something significant, something big, something life-altering. When God is preparing you for the next level, He allows this inner friction to surface. It may show up as self-doubt, fear, emotional heaviness, or even confusion. But it's not meant to paralyze you, it's meant to purify you. These conflicting emotions arise because part of you wants to grow, while another part wants to remain safe in the familiar. But your soul knows it's time to rise, but your old habits, your old mindset, your old wounds, they resist. This is not weakness, it is transformation in progress. It is the breaking down of who you were so that who you are meant to become can finally emerge. You'll begin to notice that the things you used to tolerate now irritate you. The conversations you once enjoyed now drain your energy. The goals you thought were important now seem shallow. That's because your spirit is changing. You are no longer aligned with who you used to be. And this misalignment creates internal pressure. But this pressure is not punishment, it's the tension of growth. Don't mistake this phase for failure. Many do. Many people walk away at this stage because the conflict feels overwhelming. But understand this. The greater the calling, the deeper the conflict. The struggle within you is simply evidence that you're being stretched into a new identity. And just like any muscle being trained, your character must be challenged before it can carry a heavier purpose. In this phase, the mind will often try to convince you to stay comfortable. It will whisper thoughts of inadequacy. It will remind you of every past mistake. It will replay every fear you've ever buried. But none of that is the truth. These are only the echoes of your past trying to hold on. Because the moment you truly break free, that old version of you dies. And ego hates to die, so it fights. It pulls you backward just as you begin to move forward. That's why this part of the journey feels so intense. You're not just changing habits, you're changing identity. This is where discipline must override emotion, where silence must override chaos, where faith must override logic. Because everything within you will scream for comfort. But if you choose to stay in the storm and not run from it, you will come out transformed, stronger, clearer, ready. What once created conflict will now become your fuel. What once confused you will become your clarity. So if you are in this space where your thoughts are restless, your emotions are raw, and your spirit feels torn, know this: you are not lost. You are being redefined. What you feel is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough. And the resistance you feel inside, that's your old self clinging to what is fading. Let it go. Lean into the discomfort. Embrace the inner conflict not as a sign of chaos, but as the evidence that your transformation is already underway. Because before something big is given to you, you must first become the person who can hold it. And that becoming always begins with a battle within. There comes a moment on the path of growth where the noise of the outer world begins to quiet and the voice within becomes louder. You begin to sense things you can't explain. You start to notice patterns that were once invisible. You feel a deeper connection to life, not in your mind, but in your spirit. This is the awakening of spiritual sensitivity, and it does not happen by accident. It is one of the clearest signs that something greater is approaching. When God is about to give you something big, your soul becomes more alert, more attuned to the unseen. You begin to perceive not just with your eyes, but with your intuition. Suddenly you become aware of things that previously felt like coincidences. You start noticing repeated numbers, symbols, or recurring themes in your life. You overhear a stranger say something that speaks directly to your situation. You read something at just the right moment. Your dreams carry messages. Your energy feels drawn to silence and reflection. These are not random. These are spiritual signals, divine whispers reminding you that you are on sacred ground. Something is shifting, and your spirit knows it before your mind can process it. This sensitivity often increases during times of uncertainty. When everything seems to be falling apart, your physical eyes may only see loss, but your spiritual awareness begins to pick up a deeper order beneath the chaos. You may not be able to articulate it clearly, but there is an inner knowing that tells you this is happening for a reason. That sense of divine order is not imagined. It is the awareness of a soul being prepared for something more. This awakening also changes how you view people, situations, and even yourself. You begin to sense the energy in a room. You pick up on people's intentions before they speak. You are no longer satisfied with surface-level conversations. You seek depth, truth, and alignment. It's not arrogance, it's elevation. Your spirit is evolving, and everything that lacks authenticity begins to fall away. You're not withdrawing from people, you're being drawn toward presence, toward purpose, toward peace. Spiritual sensitivity also brings an increase in inner guidance. That still small voice inside you begins to speak louder and more clearly. You may feel prompted to make changes that don't make logical sense. Walking away from something, starting something new, letting go of things you once clung to. And though you can't always explain why, you feel deep down that you must follow it. This is not impulsiveness, it's intuition. It's the divine compass within, pointing you toward the next chapter of your life. Of course, with increased sensitivity comes a sense of discomfort. You may feel more emotional, more vulnerable. You may cry for no reason, feel overwhelmed by beauty, or sense a heaviness you can't explain. This is not weakness, it's the expansion of your heart. When God prepares you for more, He expands your capacity to feel, to understand, to connect. And that expansion can feel like breaking at first, but it's only because your old shell is too small for what your soul is becoming. This sensitivity is your superpower. It allows you to move with grace, to speak with wisdom, and to live with intention. The more you honor it, the more clearly you will see the path unfolding before you. It won't always make sense to others, but it's not supposed to. This awakening is personal, sacred, timed perfectly for your transformation. So if you find yourself sensing things more deeply, feeling things more intensely, noticing signs where others see none, don't ignore it. You are not imagining things, you are aligning. And the more sensitive your spirit becomes, the more ready you are to receive what is coming. Stay open, stay aware, stay grounded in that quiet knowing, because your spirit is not preparing you for the familiar, it is preparing you for the divine. One of the most misunderstood signs that something big is coming into your life is the sudden closing of doors. Opportunities you were excited about begin to slip away. Projects that once showed promise fall apart. People you counted on walk away without explanation. Plans you carefully built begin to unravel. In the moment it feels like everything is going wrong. But what you don't yet see is that every closed door is a divine act of protection. It is not rejection, it is redirection. When God is about to give you something big, He starts removing the things that are not aligned with your future. It can feel harsh, it can feel unfair, especially when you've invested time, energy, and heart into something or someone. But not every door is meant to open, not every path is meant to continue. Some things fall apart because they were never meant to stay in your life permanently, and often we don't have the strength to let go, so life in its wisdom does it for us. At first it feels like loss. You grieve the plans that didn't work. You question your decisions. You wonder if you're being punished or forgotten. But in time, when you look back, you realize that every door that closed was making space for something far better than what you were chasing. You weren't being denied, you were being protected from settling for less. The truth is, when something big is on its way, your life needs to be cleared. Just like you clean out a room before bringing in something new, God begins to remove the clutter from your life. Relationships that drain you, paths that lead nowhere, roles that shrink your spirit. These closures are necessary, because what is coming is too valuable to be placed in a life that still holds what no longer serves you. But in the moment, it's hard to see the purpose. You might beg for doors to reopen. You might plead with God to restore what was taken. But sometimes unanswered prayers are the greatest blessings. Because if you only knew what He was about to bring, you would thank Him for every no, every goodbye, every failure. The doors that slam shut are not the end of the story. They are the start of a more aligned one. These closures come quickly, one after another. Life begins to strip away your distractions, your safety nets, even your comfort. This rapid loss is a sign, not of abandonment, but of acceleration. God is not delaying you, He is positioning you. And He cannot position you while you're still attached to the past. So he removes what cannot grow with you. And while you may feel like you're losing everything, what's really happening is a pruning. You are being prepared to carry something greater. Learn to trust the shut doors. Learn to release what is leaving without chasing it. What is meant for you will not require begging or force. It will come with flow, with clarity, with confirmation, and it will come when there is space for it. This is why letting go is so vital. The quicker you release what has ended, the sooner you align with what is beginning. You don't need to understand it in the moment. You just need to trust that your life is being guided by something higher. And sometimes, the most loving thing God can do is remove what you thought you wanted to make room for what your soul truly needs. So if you're facing closed doors, don't see it as failure, see it as divine editing. Something bigger is being written, and the author knows exactly which pages need to be turned. Let go. Trust the redirection, because what's coming won't need to be forced. It will fit. It will flow. It will feel like coming home. There's a moment, quiet and subtle, when something inside you begins to stir. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It's not loud like the chaos around you. Instead, it whispers, gently, consistently. It's a deep inner knowing, unexplainable yet unshakable, a feeling that something is coming, something big. You can't point to any evidence and nothing in your external world has changed, but something within you just knows. Your life is about to shift. This kind of knowing doesn't come from logic. It isn't built on facts or circumstances. It comes from a place beyond the mind. It's a message from your spirit, and when you feel it, you can't ignore it. You carry it in the way you walk, in the way you pause, in the way you begin to detach from what once consumed you. That quiet certainty starts changing you before the change even arrives. You may question it. You might even doubt yourself. You look around and nothing seems to confirm what you feel. But that's exactly what makes this knowing so powerful. It doesn't need proof. It's not waiting on validation. It exists because your spirit is already in tune with what's on the way. Your intuition is always ahead of your reality. And that inner pull is your soul preparing you to receive what your hands have not yet touched. You may find yourself becoming more patient without trying, less reactive, less desperate. You stop chasing what you once thought you needed. You no longer crave noise or distraction. Instead, you become calm, present. There's a sense of surrender, not out of defeat, but from wisdom. You've realized you don't have to control everything to be on the right path. You trust the process, even when it makes no sense. That is the evidence of alignment. This deep knowing often comes after a storm, after pain, after confusion. It rises from the ashes of things you thought broke you. But it didn't break you. It prepared you. And now, without needing to explain yourself to anyone, you stand in quiet expectation. You've been emptied so you can be filled again, this time with something real. Not everyone around you will understand this phase. To others, it may look like you're doing nothing, but inside, you know you're being rebuilt, realigned. You're moving with a purpose that isn't loud, but it's real. And in time, it will be undeniable. What you're preparing for is bigger than anything you've ever seen. And before that arrives, God gives you this stillness, this quiet conviction. It's not a coincidence. It's spiritual preparation. It's His way of saying, get ready. I'm about to trust you with more. And that more is not always about success or recognition. It's about meaning, purpose, fulfillment, impact. So if you feel that deep knowing within you, even when nothing on the outside makes sense, hold on to it, nurture it. Don't silence it with fear or doubt. Let it guide your steps. Let it lead you away from what's no longer meant for you and toward the unknown that holds your future. You don't need to see the full picture to trust what's unfolding. Your soul already recognizes what your mind has yet to understand. This is not imagination. This is confirmation. You are stepping into alignment with something greater than what you prayed for. Let that quiet knowing become your anchor. Let it remind you that faith often arrives before evidence, that peace can come before clarity, that transformation begins long before results appear. And when the moment comes, and it will, you'll recognize it. Not because it looks like you expected, but because your soul already knew it was coming. If you find yourself in discomfort, isolation, confusion, or silence, understand, these are not random experiences. They are sacred signs. You are in a divine waiting room. And while you wait, you are being shaped, stretched, and sharpened. Because when God is about to give you something big, He first clears the clutter. He removes what cannot go with you. He prepares your hands to receive what your soul was destined to carry. Do not rush the process. Stay present. Watch the signs. Trust the preparation. Because what's coming is bigger than anything you've lost. And when it arrives, you realize it was always worth the wait.